Well, folks, there you go. We've had the information none of us wanted to get. Football Manager 2025 is officially cancelled as of 2:34 a.m. this morning. I am sat in a hotel room down in Southampton. We're about to go on holiday, so apologies for slightly iffier than usual video quality, and probably for this video uploading quite late because it's got to come up on hotel Wi-Fi. I've literally just woken up half an hour ago. I still have my morning coffee. I've not yet had a shower, but I have, hopefully, I think, digested all of the information about this that is currently out there. So this is my reaction and the news as of first thing this morning. So if things have moved on over the course of the day, I apologise. I will try and get another video done if and when anything changes, but obviously that is reliant on whatever Wi-Fi I can find as I'm travelling. So the headlines, as I say, FM25 is cancelled. It is not happening. It was announced by Sports Interactive's parent company Sega 2:34 this morning as part of their quarterly shareholder briefing, and the game is done. It's not an additional delay. It's not maybe. It is, the game is done. They are now focusing all of their efforts on what I guess will be called FM26, but it's not actually named anywhere in what I can see, but on a game to come out later this year, which obviously is FM25 as it is currently, with another 6, 7, 8 months of development time, I guess. We don't know when later this year that will be penciled in. I mean, obviously, normally Football Manager releases early November. Obviously, I guess theoretically, if they were still hoping at some point that this game could have been released in March, maybe they could be ready to go a little bit earlier. Wouldn't it be nice if we could get that game a couple of days after the transfer window closes in September? We talked about it a little bit on stream this week. I suspect it's unlikely, purely because that then puts it directly up against the AFC launch window, which for a game that's already a year late, that is a big risk, isn't it? So I suspect if I had to make a prediction, and we all know how good my predictions have been about this stuff lately, but if I had to make a prediction, I guess we're looking at it coming out in its normal late October, early November release slot, but I guess more information on that will follow. Probably not very soon. I think everybody probably just needs to take a breath before start making more promises, but I would expect a game later on this year. We also now know, as part of how it was announced, why they had to stay completely silent as they did. Obviously, back in September, October time, when they told us we'd get gameplay by the end of January. Obviously, that was with the intention of giving us some gameplay at the end of January. And then presumably at some point between then and now, they'd realised that wasn't going to be ready. They weren't going to meet their own deadline, but they couldn't just announce it by the deadline that they'd arbitrarily set as a studio, because they are owned by a publicly traded company in Japan, and like it or not, the way business works, the first people who find out about stuff like this that affects the bottom line, and this obviously significantly affects the bottom line. Football Manager makes a lot of money, and there will not be a Football Manager game this financial year. So the first people who need to find out about that are Sega's shareholders, and the earliest opportunity they could do that was within their already scheduled investor update, whatever it's actually called, that was already scheduled to happen at 2:30 this morning. And the Football Manager bit was announced 4 minutes in, which is why we got our announcement at 2:34. So the moment they were able to share anything, they did share. It went out on the Football Manager socials while we were all asleep. And yeah, we now know that the game is not happening. But that's why we didn't get any information. A lot of us, some more than others, have been quite hard on Sports Interactive for their stance, but they had no choice. Legally, hands were tied, and I think we have to probably cut them a little bit of slack for that, which I know is going to upset some of you. Some of you get very upset when I try and put a positive thing that spin on things. I'm a naturally optimistic person, but yeah, that's why there were no updates. And I guess they can communicate a little more freely now. But like I say, it's probably a little bit early to start making any more promises. I would not be against a couple of weeks of complete silence now while everybody gathers their thoughts and figures out what the next step is. One thing that we know is not the next step. There will not be a data update for FM24. That was in the click here for more information part of the Sports Interactive announcement, for the same reasons they didn't do a data update back end of last year. They're not doing one now. And those reasons are basically that it would take resources away from making this game, which obviously they are trying really hard to make. So I guess it's for the best that they don't draw resources away from that to fiddle around making a data update for the existing one. It's not just as simple as updating the squads. Because of all the licenses that they have, they'd have to update all of the competition rules, things like logos, the Champions League music. There's a never-ending list of things they would need to update as part of an official data update that makes it a much bigger job than any of the unofficial ones would be. So I guess we just have to make do with the unofficial data updates for the next 6, 7, 8 months, however it would be, and keep playing and enjoying FM24. I guess, again, putting a slightly positive spin on things, at least FM24 is the best game they've ever made. It's not as if we're stuck with a rubbish version. It is a really good version of the game, and we're just going to have to play it for a little bit longer. I guess on that side of things, it's not the end of the world. Another thing I'm sure a lot of you will be asking about is if you've pre-ordered the game, how you go about getting a refund. If you ordered from a Sega authorized reseller, so Steam, my pre-order link is a Sega authorized one. SI have confirmed you will automatically get your refund through. I don't know what the timescale of that is. I couldn't see that in any of the information I've looked through. Again, I emphasise the fact I'm recording this video before the open of business in the UK. So Fanatical, who I did my pre-order through, presumably haven't even got to the office yet. So they certainly haven't started processing them right now. But I imagine you'll get some communication in the very near future. And as soon as I know more, I'll share more. Because I am going to be away for the next week or so, you're more likely to see those updates be shared by me on Twitter or TikTok than here on YouTube, because recording and uploading a YouTube video on a cruise ship might be a challenge. But as soon as I know more, I will try and share more as soon as I can. But the official line from Sports Interactive is the refunds will be processed automatically. So I think if you've ordered from Steam, I don't think they take the money yet anyway, so that will just be cancelled. But if you have actually paid money out, you should get that money back automatically. If you've not ordered through an authorized reseller, then it's down to whatever shop you ordered from. So, I mean, I assume everyone will process refunds appropriately, but I know there are some of the lowest prices weren't the Sega authorized ones, and I don't know what the situation is with them, is my honest answer. It's why I only work with Sega authorized ones. And will continue to do so going forward. But hopefully, whoever you've ordered through, you'll be able to get your refund sorted in the very near future. As far as my take on it all goes, obviously, personally, not ideal. Both from a personal gamer perspective and obviously a professional, this is my job perspective. It's a long, long way from ideal. Football Manager has been my biggest hobby, my most favourite thing to do, my obsession for over 30 years now. I've been playing since back on Championship Manager 2, and the reason it became my job in the first place is because I play it as obsessively as I do and have done for such a long time. I ran the numbers once. I have spent over 10% of my life, my entire life, playing Football Manager. My dad might argue that was a waste of time. I would argue I've had a lovely time. So obviously, just personally, as a player and lover of Football Manager for longer than a lot of you have been alive, I'm gutted. I love playing my new game every year. I've missed it this year. It's been the first time since I was knee-high to a grasshopper that I've not had a new Football Manager to play going into those autumn and winter months, and it's been rubbish. But not a lot we can do about it. Hopefully the new one, when it comes, is shiny and beautiful and makes up for it. Obviously, from a professional standpoint, the majority of my income does come from this channel, from making Football Manager videos, and it's already taken a significant hit from not having the new game out at the end of last year, and it will continue to take a significant hit going forward. We'll be making a lot less money this year. I can't even begin to estimate how much less. It shouldn't be disastrous for us. I mean, I know a lot of you won't care, but a lot of you will also want to know. The channel won't be going anywhere. I'll continue to make content. Obviously, I do have other channels as well. I've got my Lego channel, I've got my vlog channel, I have my Twitch, my TikTok. I've got multiple income streams. A lot of them are still tied to Football Manager to one extent or another. But as long as things don't nosedive from here, and views have held relatively steady during this period since the delay, and if we have another 6 months like the 3 months we've just had, we should be fine. If things continue to go down and down and down and down and down, then there might be problems going forward, but hopefully they're problems that I can balance and make up for with my other channels, and maybe getting a bit more creative with some of the content, both in terms of content on FM24, maybe on some older Football Manager games, maybe on some other football-based games, maybe on some other games. I mean, Civilization 7 came out yesterday. I love Civ. Maybe I could do some Civ content. Obviously, I've got my Lego channel. I could focus on that a little bit more, get a little bit more out on that. But one thing is for sure, the next time there is some breaking FM26 news, assuming that's what it's going to be called, I will be there reacting to it. And as soon as that game drops, I will have content on it. So the channel is not going to be going anywhere, and we should be fine. So thank you for your concern, those of you who were concerned, but we should be fine. And then I guess with all that being said, the only other thing to think about is the potential impact it might have on the future, what it might mean long-term for Football Manager, for Sports Interactive, for Sega. And I know it's very, very early days, and a lot of you just want to shout and be angry at the moment, and I'm sure the comment section is going to be super duper fun for this video. But I think separating the whole, I want to play it now, and the, I want to pay my bills now stuff from the situation, it's probably better long term to go down this route. It would have been potentially disastrous to release an unfinished broken game, especially after a delay. And if they'd have been forced by Sega to release an unfinished broken game in March, that breaks a lot of trust with Sports Interactive as a developer, with Sega as a publisher, and trust is a very hard thing to rebuild. And now I know missing deadlines, doing delays, the silence hasn't massively benefited them in terms of those trust levels either. But I think it's probably a case of a lesser of two evils situation, and it's better to say nothing and release nothing than release something that is an obvious cash grab. And I think it's reassuring that Sega haven't forced them down the route of an obvious cash grab. I mean, obviously Sports Interactive are a one-game studio. Their entire income each year is based on selling copies of Football Manager, and they won't be doing that during this financial year. And it would have been very easy for Sega, as a publicly traded limited company on the stock market with shareholders, to say, well, then A, you're releasing a game regardless, or B, well, then we're shutting you down. And they haven't done either of those. They have backed Sports Interactive, which is huge. It's a huge vote of confidence. Obviously, Sports Interactive do have a long track record of making excellent games that make Sega a lot of money. So they've earned themselves a little bit of cushion, a little bit of leeway there, which they're now using. They're probably using all of it up, so they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt again in the future, I would suggest. If we're sat 6 months down the line still questioning whether the new game is real and wondering why we've not seen any of it, then I think we probably have to start questioning, is the franchise dead? Is Football Manager done? Is Sports Interactive done? Will they maybe bring in a new developer? That's all stuff for later down the line. No, I think now SI have been given a massive vote of confidence to get out a good game later this year. And I think if they do that, and I have every confidence that they will, if they get us a good game out later this year, hopefully we'll get to the point a few years down the line where we look back on this and like, oh, remember that year it didn't come out? But not, oh, remember that terrible game that they released, which obviously sticks in the memory a lot more than the year the game didn't come out and we had to play the other really good one for a little bit longer. So, yeah, it's not ideal, but in the circumstances, I think probably is the best outcome. I think Football Manager for now is fine. Sports Interactive for now is fine. They're hiring for new jobs. They wouldn't be hiring for new jobs if they were worried the studio was going to be closing down. Anyone who's pre-ordered should get their refund sorted, and when the game eventually comes, it should be really good. And remember, we'll still have some of that shiny new stuff we were promised for FM25. Things like the new user interface, the Premier League license, the new match engine, women's football, there's probably other stuff that I've forgotten that has been announced. But yeah, there's lots of very cool stuff to come, and it's just now going to come later on this year rather than in the next few weeks like it should have done. And I think the main thing for us all to remember, the big takeaway from all of this, is me and Anna could have gone on our original cruise after all. I'm sat in a hotel in Southampton now because we're going on our inferior 4-night makeup cruise that we booked off the back of having to cancel the big cruise that we had booked for March, that we cancelled back when the game was originally delayed, because obviously I wanted to be at home when the game came out. So if you are sad today because Football Manager's not coming, just remember, you don't have to deal with an angry Anna who is now going on a worse holiday than one she should have had, and also knows we can't afford to rebook the other one because we're not going to be making any Football Manager money this year. So she's going to be a cross lady. We're all a little bit cross, aren't we? It's rubbish. I know it's a rubbish situation. Fingers crossed. We all end up making the best of it, and it'll be fine. Like I say, as soon as I've got some more considered thoughts or any more information drops, I will try and get some more information out to you. As I also say, the best place to get that will probably be TikTok, Twitter, maybe even YouTube Shorts. I don't know if there'll be another full-length big YouTube video in the near future on this topic, because it'll be hard to record and upload while I'm on a cruise ship with dodgy Wi-Fi. But yeah, for now, I guess I can go and have my shower, and at least there's not going to be any more bad news breaking now, surely. Surely. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you for... No, I'm not going to say I'll see you for FM26. I'll see you later today for my Non-League to Legend video, because blooming heck, do I need you to support them now. Oh, my word. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye, everybody.